Hey guys, my name is Addison Zawada. I'm here today to show you how to pack a bicycle in a box that won't get charged at the airport. The target goal is 62 linear inches, which means length, height, and width need to add up to less than 62 inches. Now I can't quite do that with this bike, but I can get it to 63. And that's typically close enough. How do I know how big to make my box? Well, my box is 28 by 29 by 8, but that doesn't mean that that's necessarily going to work for your bike. All of the bikes have different geometries: seat tubes, down tubes, top tubes, chain stays, seat stays. They're all different sizes, different geometries. So as my dimensions might work for you, they might not as well. Good way to tell or sort of design your own box around the bike that you have. Go to a bike shop, get a bike box. Now this obviously is not the bike box I travel with. I'm going to show you how to mark this one to make your new box, but I don't want to mark mine because I keep it as discreet as possible. So what you do is you get a bike box, and it will be a certain height like this one is. So lay it down flat on the ground, or you can stand it up, whatever you want to do, and then take your rear triangle, your dropouts, put them in the bottom left-hand corner, right at the bottom, just to where there's a little bit of box on each side, and then you caddy corner your frame till your head tube, which is where your fork goes through, is actually just at the top of here, and that gives you an idea of how long and tall your bike needs to be. Now remember, you need your box to be between 8 and 9 inches wide. That's generally an average of how wide a bike box comes from the factory, and that's about how wide you want it to end up being. Now don't forget, when you do go to cut your bike box down, remember you have to fit a 700 centimeter wheel in here. So that being said, it needs to be big enough for that wheel. What you want to do is you want to go past that about, let's say, 6 inches on each side. So we'll go there, down here, and let's just say that that's 6 inches. Then you'll actually cut the box there. What that's going to do is that's going to allow you to actually fold on the line that you decided is big enough for your bike and still have overlap to make the full box. Hopefully all of that makes sense. Leave some questions, comments in that area, and I will hopefully be able to help you from there. It comes out to 63 linear inches. So it is technically not a standard size check bag, but usually if you give them the puppy dog eyes, they'll let an inch slide. So I'm going to show you how to fit a bike in here today. First thing, obviously take off the wheel. Huge benefit that I always stress with packing a bike: the use of a hub with female axles. It makes it nice and flush, fixing the box really well. So, go ahead and unscrew these guys and just set them aside for now. Next, obviously, take off the rear wheel. I use Paul hubs, so they're all 6mm Allen wrenches. It just keeps it simple. I can take this entire bike apart and put it back together with this Allen wrench set. And that is very convenient when you're traveling. Whenever you're disassembling your bike, you typically want to try and keep everything in one area. Just keeps it simple. Make sure you don't lose anything or forget anything, because last thing you want to do is get to a race and realize, oh man, I forgot my axle nuts at home. Not something to do. So I keep everything in one nice clean spot. Just go ahead and set those off to the side. Next thing I want to stress about shipping a bike that makes life easy: a quick link chain. Now, my favorite personally is the Connex quick link. Reason why: because you can do it without a set of quick link pliers. You can just do it with your hands. It's very simple. They say don't use it more than once, but I've used these for an entire racing, and so far I've traveled about 20 times with this bike this year and haven't had any problems. Next up that has to come off is your chain ring. Yes, I did say your chain ring has to come off. Simple trick when you're traveling or disassembling anything for that matter, always put nuts back where they go. So if you've got chainring bolts, screw them back together. Next up to come off is the crank. Now, luckily mine is very simple to do. It's just one bolt. Hopefully if you're at the point where you're taking your entire bike apart, you know how to take your crankset off, you know how to take all the miscellaneous parts off. So I'm not going to go into how to do all that today. Next to go will be the seat. Don't forget your lights. That is another thing. Luckily these Nog blinders are perfect, small, compact. The charger's built into them, so it's easy. But don't forget your lights. You don't want to get to another city in another country and get a ticket or arrested because you don't have lights. Mark your seat angle with little lines on both the carriage and the seat post, so you know what angle your seat post is at, as well as your seat post height, which I've done here. Now with the seat, I take my seat completely apart, which is very simple. Just makes it easy to put that last little bit in the box. It's going to be the bars. Now I have gotten my box to the point where I don't need to disassemble my stem from my handlebars. I can just take it all as one unit. Next up on the chopping block, get it to a bare frame, taking the top cap off. And there's that. So now we've got that to a bare frame, which is exactly what you want it to be. Make sure you don't lose your headset, bearings, any spacers, compression washers, or top caps. Put everything back on the fork in the order it came off, so you don't forget. Now I get to show you how to fit all of that into here. Wheel bags make a huge difference. Much safer, much cleaner, and much easier to get in and out of the box. So, set that to the side. And then our other wheel bag. And these are pretty nice. These are actually padded. You can get some that aren't padded, that are a little bit thinner, a little bit more flexible, but I really like these because they keep the rims safe. You want your bike to also get to your destination in one piece. Alright, so now that those are packed away, marked where your cardboard tubes go. I just use cardboard tubes. I don't need foam. It's a little unnecessary, a little bulky. But mark your seat, your top tube, your chain stays, your seat stays, so on and so forth. So that way, if you ever get to the point where you're in a hurry going to the airport, like I am often because I run late most of the time, everything just sort of snaps into place. And using white masking tape really helps. It's really easy, it rips well, and just keeps the process simple. A few things here to make life much simpler. First, take a chainring sleeve, duct tape it to the inside of your box. Your chainring always has a place to go. I made a duct tape sleeve for it there, as well as, obviously you're going to need a pedal wrench to put your pedals back on. It goes right there as well. Okay, so now that I've shown you the inside of the box, I'm going to show you how everything should be packed. It's pretty simple. That's what the packing material is for. To keep everything sort of in place and safe. So, next, I'm going to wrap my cranks up. I actually double wrap my cranks. Do one this way. Big long rubber band works well for this because it's removable, it's reusable, it's easy. Big long rubber band there. Then lay out another piece of bubble wrap long ways. And this just basically gives you that added layer of protection. Smash that in. Then fork down in there. Seat. Luckily my seat fits together really nicely, just like that. And it will slide right in one of these, which actually I should go the other way with this so it fits a little nicer. So, once again, These are a little bit smaller bubble wrap sleeves. Our cranks are nice and small, no pedals, no chainring. The reason why you do that is because you can set that in the front corner of the box here, up underneath this open space by the down tube. Just slides right in there, no hassle, no nothing. Got your fork. It will go right between the rear triangle of the bike. Then you've got your seat. Goes very nicely right between the wheels, right on top of the top tube. U-lock right on top of that. Sort of keeps everything snug and in place. Coolest thing about the way I've got my box set up is, you sort of got to wiggle it a little bit, but the handlebars with your stem sort of holds everything in place and together, as well as gives it spatial structure so the box can't get crushed from the side. A few short tips on how to actually avoid the airport fees once you've got your bike box. One, I like to paint my boxes. Get rid of the bicycle logos. You don't want anything that says bicycle on it because you're not going to tell them it's a bicycle. So paint it up, put some postcards on it from where you've traveled, keep some memories, and then when you get to the airport, I always like to say it's a variety of camping equipment. I might say bike wheels, but typically it's camping equipment, photography equipment, stuff that they're not going to charge for. So, that being said, one last thing is, if you can go to your local bike shop and get these black nylon bands put around it, that just adds a little bit of rigidity to your box. It's going to prolong the life of it.